and welcome to the chaos, and welcome to what was supposed to be yesterday's video. Today is Monday. I had every intention of having the video up yesterday, and in fact would have had it up yesterday, except for when I went to put it in my editing software and get it ready to upload yesterday, I discovered that none of my audio had recorded. I recorded the entire video with no sound whatsoever, so I charged both my microphones this morning, and I'm trying again. So here we go, take two for this video. And this video is going to be something we actually have not done together in a while, just kind of an overview of the things that I've made recently without any kind of theme or any kind of special agenda or anything like that. I have two markets coming up that I'm kind of simultaneously preparing for, and that'll probably be the case for a while. One of them isn't until April, so I'm kind of slowly stockpiling for that one while also making things for the other markets that I have going on. So let's start with the one that's coming up the soonest. It's coming up in about 2 weeks, and it is the South Mississippi Toy Fest. This will be my third time vending at the official South Mississippi Toy Fest. They did it last year in, was it February? Yeah, February, and then again in August. I did both of those events, and this again is the February event. I also vended for the same hosts at a smaller toy swap mid-year. June maybe of last year, and at all of their shows I've done really well and had a really great time. I really enjoy their shows. It's gotten bigger each time. This upcoming one is going to be at the Lake Terrace Convention Center in Hattiesburg, so it's the biggest one yet. I do believe they have over 80 vendors signed up, which isn't big when you're thinking of like a Comic-Con or something like that, but it's pretty big for just Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So, and they don't charge very much to set up. The table fee is pretty low, and it's all very nerd related kind of stuff. So it's right up my alley. This fits right in with what I've got going on. So for that one in particular, I have made a few things in this bag. Now I also have the keychains still in this bag. I haven't put them into my market totes yet from the last video. So we won't show those again because you've already seen those. So this is everything I've made since that video. So since the last time we saw each other. So first off in this bag, we'll just start with the biggest thing. We'll just go biggest to smallest. I did it the opposite way yesterday when I recorded it the first time. So now, of course, everything is in the bag backwards. So we're going biggest to smallest now. So biggest, we have this Coquette dragon. Coquette because she has a bow and she's pink. And she has these gorgeous hand-painted pink and blue eyes. I think I got these from Snugglebeans Crochet. And they are the Pokemon eyes. I'll have to double check on that. I was mixed up yesterday whether it was Snugglebeans or Avalon, and I didn't actually go look it up. So I will look it up for this video and make sure to put it on the screen for you. So this is the sitting dragon. Her legs go out like this and she sits. The latest in the mini sitting series by Crochet by Jenna. I was pleased to be able to test this for her. Now her pattern comes with like a dagger tip that goes on the tail. I skipped the dagger tip and I did this bow, which is a free Instagram pattern by Nooks Hooks Creations. Or Nooks Hooks Crochet? Nooks Hooks. By Nooks Hooks. On Instagram, free pattern, and it's really cute. This is the second time I've made this to put on something. The other thing was one of Jenna's turtles. And I really, really like the way it turned out. And this little dragon is super cute. I do want to make another one of these in oranges and teal, and make it sort of a Charizard inspired dragon, and I think that'll turn out really cute too. Won't look exactly like the Pokemon, but I think, you know, just the inspiration will be, it's cute and people will recognize it. So that's the first one. She will be for $65. The mini sitting series by Jenna works up for me in a little under 2 hours, so they kind of hit that $65 range. Set her aside. The next biggest thing I have in this bag is a $45 plush, and this is Bulbasaur. This is actually Carl by Erin's Yarnimals. She has a chubby Pokemon series. She has so many. There are so many patterns that she has for the chubby Pokemon, and they all follow this kind of basic potato bobblefoot, you know, shape Pokemon, and then they have whatever, you know, individual characteristics that Pokemon would have. So, you know, this one has the little triangle-shaped ears and the bulb on the back. Charmander, of course, would have his tail. Squirtle has his curly tail and his turtle shell, you know, so on and so forth. But they all start with this basic body shape. This is what they all kind of look like. Very cute. They work up pretty quick for me. This is a $45 product in my shop. Now, I do know these eyes are wrong. I 3D printed these, and when I was setting them up, that kind of wine red color, that's the Bulbasaur eye color, is supposed to be in the white, and the white is supposed to be out here. And somehow I switched the two when I was telling the printer what needed to go in which spot. So I am going to be reprinting these. I have some other things going on my printer right now, but sometime before the actual market, when I have a free moment on my printer, I'm going to reprint these in the correct colors and replace them. They're just glued on, so if I trim really carefully with the scissors, I think I can get them off without like actually deconstructing the plush and making a big hole in it. And then I'll just glue the new ones on over the like snipped area, and I think it should be just fine. As long as I'm super careful. Now, of course, if I ruin it, I guess I'll just have to make another one. But this is a $45 plush. So the next price point is actually what is going to be everything else in this bag. And it is my $25 price point range. So it's about just about the smallest one I have. I have some small $20 things, but they're just kind of random one-offs that when they're gone, they're gone. And then I have $15 keychains, and that's like the next lowest down. So, and all of the rest of these also, coincidentally, are Pokemon, which, you know, we're going to a nerd fest, basically. So what else are you going to make? So I've got 3 of these little baby Squirtles. And this pattern is by Hooked Crochet Cuties, or Hooked Crochet. I think it's, yeah, Hooked Crochet Cuties? Hooked Cuties? Something like that. I will write it down. My brain is not with me this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is. So I have 3 of these little Squirtle babies. That, like I said, $25 range. These work up really quickly. They're all no-sew. You surface crochet on the shell once you've created the main body. And again, they all have a similar kind of body shape. Bulbasaur is different because he's down on all fours, but kind of a similar situation here with the 2 round shapes and then the bobble legs, and then whatever accessories make them, you know, who they are. So there's Squirtle. Then by that same pattern pack, I have some baby Bulbasaurs. I have 4 of these. And you can see what I mean by this one is like a little barrel shape. So this one's the different shape than the other ones. But I think almost all of the other ones have that same like circle stacked on circle shape. So that was 3, 4. So there's 4 of these. This one is a little bit different. I did a different color on the bulb for this one. I think this is Emerald by Premier Basics Chenille. And this particular skein is a terrible quality. It feels like a paper towel. It is awful. So I pulled it out and I started working with it to make this bulb, and I fought through it to finish the bulb, but after that I just could not do it anymore. So that particular skein went into the craft drawer for the kids to play with, and I'm not going to mess with it anymore. And I have to go check and see if any of my other skeins of Emerald are just as bad. And I may get rid of them as well and have to reorder. I know you can reach out to Premier, and I have done that once or twice before with when sometimes the skein comes out bad, but they usually require that you pay your own shipping back. And by the time I paid, you know, for 2 or 3 skeins of only $3.99 a piece, by the time I paid shipping to send back to them and get another skein, I basically just bought another skein. So I'm just going to not worry about it. All right, so that's Baby Bulbasaur, Hooked Crochet Cuties. The rest of these that I have to show you are all actually my own patterns. So first, this is my newest pattern. It's a free one that I just released on my Instagram. This is the only one that's not a Pokemon. This is Dart the Poliwag. So this is a Stranger Things character. If you haven't seen the show, at one point in the show, the main monster of like the first show has a baby, essentially, and this is the baby. It sounds so weird. If you don't know the show and this is all you know about it, that sounds bizarre. So hopefully you know the show and you know what I'm talking about. But fans of Stranger Things, this pattern is just released for free on my Instagram if you want to try to make your own little polywog. It is a low sew, not a no sew. You do sew on the tail and you sew these hind legs on, but it's very simple, straightforward sewing. It does not take very long at all. For all of my testers said it took them less than an hour to work one of these guys up. So still in the $25 range, polywog. Okay. Now, Pokemon. Back to Pokemon, and again, my own pattern. So these are my little foxes. I have an entire pattern pack of every variety. I've only made 3 so far, and I'll explain why in a minute when we get to the stuff I have for the next market that I'm prepping for. So we have Little Fox. Again, low sew, you sew on the tail and you sew on the ears. Night Fox. This one's my favorite. I know everybody's got their favorite. This is mine. I know this is a favorite of a lot of people, but you know what? For good reason. It's an awesome Pokemon. And then Fairy Fox. This is probably my second favorite. Sylveon. So these are my pattern. I do have them up on my website and on Etsy. They are all low sew as well. You sew on the ears. This one you crochet the tail in, but if it has a tail like this, you sew it on. And then like on this one, these little bows, you can either sew them on or glue them on, whichever you would rather do. I like things that are a little bit lower sew than necessarily having to make everything no sew. I know that's like a big trend now to make everything no sew for markets, but sometimes crocheting them on is difficult, and some people don't like doing that either. Especially if it's like a small area that you're working in, and also you don't always get this kind of rounded shape that you would want with certain pieces when you do a crocheted on here, for example. Another thing is sometimes it can be difficult to get things to line up correctly when you're doing everything crocheted in the round. And then you've got to line up, you know, your legs to your eyes to your ears. And that's a lot of working pieces to try to line up. And that can get very frustrating in a small make like this. So for me, at least, I think if it's a small thing and it's very straightforward, like these ears, it's just 4 stitches round at the bottom. So it's very easy to just stitch right in. I think it's easier to place it afterward and get your placing exactly how you want it and stitch it on, and it goes really fast. I think that's easier than trying to crochet it in. I think it's less complicated that way, and I think it makes the pattern actually more beginner friendly rather than less to have small parts like that sewn on. Now, there are some cases where you don't necessarily have to sew on everything, like the dragon I showed you at the beginning, Jenna's dragon, the sitting series. It has some stuff sewn on, but like these legs are crocheted in, these legs are crocheted in, the tail is crocheted in, and it's not that difficult. It is not a very hard thing to do. So to have those bigger pieces all crocheted in makes the other pieces that you have to sew on not nearly as difficult. So like for this one, for example, you sew on the ears and the horns and the wings, but it's all just a few very straightforward stitches. I sewed on the bow as well. A few very, very straightforward stitches for that. So I think that combination is worth it. I mean, cut your time where you can, crochet things in where you can to make things move a little faster. But if your end product looks better with a piece sewn on rather than crochet, do that. Do that. Always go for the quality over your time management in that case. So that's everything that I have made for the upcoming Toy Fest as far as crochet. I am also bringing some 3D printed stuff that I'm really excited about. So first, I have these Nintendo Switch game cases. Sorry, I've got them on the table in front of me. So I have these Nintendo Switch game cases that look like old school Game Boy games. Aren't these great? These are by Wookieeprint on Thangs. So I am a member of the Thangs community, and that's how I get these designs. So I'll show you the first one. This is Gengar. This is one of my favorites. And I have a holographic sticker on the front. This is a sticker that I print on my computer with my printer. And then these are 3D printed. And they open up and they're held shut by magnets. And then there's where you can keep your Switch games. So I really like these. I'm really excited to see how these do. This will be the kind of their debut market. So I have some purple with Gengar. I have several red with Charizard, kind of the original Pokemon Red cover there. I have green with Venusaur, yellow with Pikachu, like Pokemon Yellow, and then a pink one with Mew on it, because who doesn't love Mew? I have some more printing of the pink and purple, and then I need to print the blue ones as well for Blastoise. So that's going to be, I'm going to have hopefully 5 of each. I think I have enough time to get 5 of each color printed when I include the blue. So that'll give me 3, 4, 5, 6 30. That'll give me 30 cases to take with me, and I think that's a pretty good number. And we'll see how well they do, and I really hope they do well. I'm excited about it. And then the other thing that I am bringing, and I'm also pretty excited about, I have them all in this box here. These are Pokeball fidget clickers. So I've got the standard Pokeball, and again, this is by Wookieeprint on things, and it has a little keyboard clicky in there, and the button clicks. So I've got Pokeball, I have Great Ball, I have Ultra Ball, I have Master Ball, and I have, whoop, I dropped it, Premier Ball. So I have 10 of each of these for a total of the 50 little clickers, and I am going to work on a gotcha machine that he also has in his files. They're going to go in my claw machine until I get a chance to get the gotcha machine finished, but there will be a gotcha machine specifically for these little Pokeballs. So these will be $10 a pull. And of course, you get to the claw machine, you play it to your win, and the gotcha, of course, one's going to drop out. So $10 a pull for little Pokeball clickers, and I am excited about those as well. I really hope that they do well. So far, every time I brought clickers, they've done really well. I've sold out of every clicker that I've made. I always also keep a few just random little fidgets on the table, especially like the Master Ball, for example, has 4 colors in it when it's printed, that top does. It's got the white, the pink, the purple, and some black. So I put a little fidget frog on the tray to print alongside those that the machine will flush all the color changes into. So that prevents me from quite as much waste. There is still some color waste when it's changing between colors, but when it puts it as much of it as possible into that frog, that I get a usable product out of some of the scrap, basically, without creating quite so much waste. And the little fidgets, I put those on my table for $5. So it just gives me another little extra small price point thing. So that's Toy Fest prep. That's what I've made so far in the past 2 weeks for Toy Fest. So I'm going to pause the video here and check back in with you in a second. I need to reset my setup here a little bit, put away the ones that I've just showed you, and get out my bag for the next event that I'm prepping for. Okay, we're back. I got all my stuff put away, got my next packet, my next thing out. So this is the other stuff that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. This is for an event that I'm actually going to be traveling by plane to. So I'm kind of limited into what I can bring, how much I can bring. I'm seeing how many of these I can stuff into a carry-on. I'm going to try my very best not to check any baggage, and I think I can do it. I'm going to have to get vacuum seal bags, I believe, to really fit what I need to fit into this carry-on suitcase, because I'll show you this suitcase. Let me close it a little bit. It's not that big. This is my carry-on. So, I mean, you already saw stuff flopping out of it. So it's already pretty stuffed with what I've made so far, and I need to put more in it. So I'm going to get vacuum seal bags. If I can get it all shoved in there with vacuum seal bags, and that's what we're going to do. If not, I may keep some in my actual, like, suitcase luggage and just take one change of clothing for the weekend. I hope that doesn't come to that. I hope it doesn't come to that. Then I'd have to buy clothes while I was there and hope I had empty space in my suitcase to bring them back. Anyway, so I am going to KawaiiCon in Hawaii, in Honolulu. I'm so excited. I'm so beyond excited. I can't even express. I have a friend who runs there every year, and she has family on the island, so she's going to be staying after to hang out with her family. And she invited me to come along with her to the con. She's already got a hotel booked, and she's already got a table booked, so all I have to pay is my airfare and just bring some stuff to try to pay back, you know, what I spent on the plane to get there. And we're just going to hang out and have fun for the con, you know, and I'm going to help her at her table so she has plenty of time to run around and look at stuff and shop if she wants to. Because, you know, big events like that are just easier if you've got a friend along, if you've got somebody to help you out. So I'm going to be able to do that for her and hopefully sell enough of this stuff to just pay for my trip, and it's basically going to be a free vacation is kind of how I'm looking at it. But I'm really excited about it. She's already talked about the national park there she wants to take me to see, and some waterfalls and hiking trails, and of course the beach is right there, and all the great food. I've been watching so many Artist Alley vlogs about KawaiiCon in particular, and they all seem to show so much food, and it looks so good. So I'm really, really excited about that. So in order to pack as much as I can into this carry-on bag, I am packing things that don't need to be stuffed or need very little stuffing. And that means hats. That means wearables, guys. I don't do this very often. Every once in a while I have character hats on my table. They always sell well when I do, but I tend to focus more on the plushies. So I have my Evolution slouchy beanies. So this is my Umbreon beanie. I'll show you what it looks like on. So it's floppy, has extra material in the back, and then the ears flop down on the sides like this. See? So very floppy, very loose, very slouchy is what it looks like in the back. So this is what they all look like. This is the basic shape for all of them. And then they just have different ears or different accessories depending on the evolution that they're meant, or the character that they're meant to represent. So I have one of my Umbreon. I would have had more, but I ran out of my black yarn. I had some more like scrap balls of black yarn, but I was not confident that they would remain looking the same when they were crocheted next to each other, so I didn't want to splice together a bunch of other random balls of yarn to make a new hat. I got to go buy some more black yarn. Then I have my Espeon hat. So here's what Espeon looks like with her little ear tufts, and then the jewel in the middle of the forehead. I have two of those. I'm trying to get two of every kind, so I need more black to make another Umbreon. So here's Espeon number 2. And then I have my Sylveon hat. This is my newest design. I just finished writing this one this week, actually. So she's got her ribbons and her bow. You can kind of see what she looks like. I really like how this one turned out. Very, very happy with how this one turned out. So I have two of these. Here's Sylveon number 2. And then I have two of the original, of course, Eevee. And Eevee hat has this different colored border around the bottom to give a nod to Eevee's fur ruff. And it's got that same sort of scalloped shape as Eevee's fur ruff. So that's the Eevee hat. I have two of the Eevee hat. Then, and this is what I'm talking about when I say or lightly stuffed, I'm also bringing coordinating keychains to go with each of these hats. So for the Umbreon hat, I have Umbreon's tail, and this is going to need a little bit of stuffing. I'm going to order some stuffing on Amazon and have it shipped to the hotel, so that it'll be there when I get there, and it'll just be a small bag. I don't need like a lot, so just enough to stuff these little keychains. So I have 6 of these Umbreon keychains. I was able to use those scrap balls of black to make a bunch of these because there was enough that I wouldn't have like 2 different blacks next to each other on a tail. There just wasn't enough to do that with a hat. So I've got 6 of the Umbreon tails. So when I get there, I'm going to lightly stuff these and then attach the keychain hardware to the top of the tail. So that'll go with the Umbreon hat. For the Espeon hat, this one actually doesn't need any stuffing. I have the bow with the ribbons underneath. I've only made one of these so far. I need to make a few more. But I kind of took a break from doing the hat so I could focus more on the stuff for the Toy Fest since that's closer to. And I'll get back to working on hats once that's over. And then for the Eevee hat, I have 3 Eevee tails. I ran out of this caramel, so this was all I had enough for. I have other kind of light brown colors like Steel Cut Oats and what's that other one from Premiere? What is it called? I can't remember now. There's like 2 different ones that are very, very similar to each other, and they're kind of a grayish light brown, kind of an odd color, which would work for like shiny Eevee. And I may wind up doing that, but I've got 2 Eevee hats already, so I'm gonna focus on getting 2 of everything before I worry about, going beyond that and doing any extras. So if I have enough room with the vacuum seal bag after I've got 2 of everything, maybe I'll do 1 shiny of each of them as well. See how that works. So that's what I have so far. I have not figured out what to do for the Espeon hat. I honestly am so lost. I could do her tail, which is like a forked, it's like a fork and then like a Y shape. That's kind of what her tail looks like. But I don't know that it'll, with the hat, of course, it would look like the Espeon tail. But if anybody wants to buy it by itself, it's not going to look like anything. Maybe it just has to go with the hat. But I'm already charging $50 for the hat, so it would be $65 for hat plus keychain. So I can see people wanting to buy the hats and maybe leave the keychain off, or wanting to buy the keychain and leave the hat off. And so I kind of feel like it needs to be something that would be cute by itself. Like the tails, you can definitely tell this is Umbreon. This is very clearly Umbreon. This is very clearly Sylveon's bow. It's all her colors and her ribbons, right? I need something like that for Espeon. If y'all have any ideas, you can let me know. So that's what I've made. That's everything I've made in the past few weeks. What I'm going to work on in the next 2 weeks, leading up to the Toy Fest, is more mini Pokemon. I am like completely out of my $20 and $25 stuff. Probably won't make any more 20 stuff. I'll make a bunch more of the 25 and just keep that as my lowest price point for now, for cons and such. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be working more on the Hooked Crochet Cuties collection. I have her bundle pack of the Kanto starters and favorites. So I've got the 3 starters. It's got Dragonite. It has Cubone. It has an Oddish. I remember Togepi, I think. A bunch. It's got a bunch. Wait, Togepi's not Kanto. Yeah, no, not Togepi. Togepi's not Kanto. I think that might be in her next set, the Johto set. She's working on one now. I just saw a tester call out for it. So I'm excited when that comes out. I really thought about applying to test, but I'm so busy with this other stuff. I was like, I don't think I would be able to get it done. So I'll just buy it when it comes out, and I'll be excited to. These honestly are some of my favorite small Pokemon designs outside of my own EVs. And why bother making them if they're already made, right? So, and they just fit with my EVs so well. Like they look like they belong in the same set. So I'm really excited about that. Trying to think, is there anything else that I want to talk about? So yeah, so I'm going to work on some more $25 Pokemon. That's going to be my next couple of weeks. Is probably just banging out as many of those as I can, and maybe working out keychain designs for the hats alongside it if I need a mental break, need to switch gears a little bit, which happens sometimes. So that's my video. It's not as long as some of them have been, and maybe I'll keep them short and snappy and see how those work better than the hour-long ones. I hope you saw some designs that you liked, and wish me luck at KawaiiCon. I'm so excited about it, and I've got a lot of cons lined up for this year compared to last year. A lot, like probably 10 times as many cons lined up this year as I had last year. A lot of them I'm applied for but haven't heard back from yet, but hopefully. You can check out my Instagram if you want to see my possible schedule of cons, everything that I've applied for and hope to get into. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.